Phew. Alrighty. I know I already did a live today, but nevertheless, I think this is something I want to share with you. If you see what is now on the lathe, that's a glue up from earlier this week, and it is supposed to become an inlay. I have recently made a few mason jar lids. Let me see. No, there's not much yet here to show. So I suppose this is the only one thus far. This one is not finished, but the idea is that this is going to be an inlay that I will put into this lid to make it look a bit more interesting. And what this is actually nothing else than uh, so these are cut-offs, basically strips left over from me cutting uh, uh, wooden panels into into square stock for the lathe, and I cut them into small pieces, as you can see here. You're looking at the top of quite a few of these. So this is end grain, and then I had a leftover piece of walnut, a round piece. I cut this into sort of a cup, and I put all those pieces in there with a lot of glue, and then I let it sit for several days. And I didn't think much of it until I put a gouge to it, because this is the result, and I think this actually looks pretty interesting. So what I'm going to do first, yeah, twice today, Chris. But this is really because I think I found something that I absolutely want to share with all of you. So I was just about explaining it. I will cut this a bit further down. Then I will reverse it and cut off the foot. Hope that it doesn't fall apart. And then I will try to get it into the lid. At that point, I will probably have to glue it in again, and then we'll have to wait until that glue has dried. But that's the idea. And I'm not sure what you think, but I think this looks pretty interesting. This is merely flattened with a gouge with a little bit of a round surface. Then I lightly sanded it, and I put one one coat of sanding sealer on it just to see how it would look. And it actually looks so good that I decide to take this a bit further and well, see if it works the way I will. So this is now 58 millimeter. I want to cut it down to 50. Put it the other way around in the chuck. Cut away all of the foot. At that point, it could become brittle, but I know I put a fairly large amount of glue underneath, so actually I think it should hold together. And if it doesn't, then I'm going to try this again with even more glue. But bear with me and see how this works out. me see, maybe. Oh. Hey, IJ. Yeah, this is my second live today, but this is something special, I hope at least. Okay, I think that should do it for this part. I can, of course, sand it again and make it pretty, but first I'll make it a bit smaller. I'm shooting for something of around 50 mil, which I think yeah, this is 52. Cutting a little bit of a dovetail now. Okay. Then it goes into the chuck like this, so that I can cut away the bottom part. Maybe I can even try to part it off. Not sure. I don't see why not, actually. So let me make a nice flat surface. Mike. Ah, welcome everyone. Okay, something like that. This is a freshly sharpened parting tool. There we go. And it doesn't even fly off. Okay. We see what we have. still all walnut, so I'm not even at the base. That means if I'm going to go a bit further than this, I might run into the jaws. I don't want to do that, at least not from the side. So what I could try is to cut it away like this with the parting tool, because I want to get to the point where I'm inside the jaws, and then I can flatten the rest and hope it doesn't fall apart. Or alternatively, I will leave a tiny bit of wood uh, from this base plate and use that as the foundation. So I can probably best start then with making this a bit thinner. I think it's now 3 or 4 millimeters. I'll take it down to 1. We might start seeing the bottom of the glued in part by then, but let's just see what happens. Making it a tiny bit concave. Oh, not so bad. I'll show you the top view, then you can see how thin I am by now. This is probably a millimeter or slightly over. Now I'll come with my parting tool. Maybe a skew. This is all end grain, so it doesn't matter. That was the jaw. I don't think you could hear that, but I could. Ah, look at that. Think I can go a tiny bit further in. Like this. But probably now I will already be into the glued up section. So I'm not hitting any jaws, but it won't come off either. Yeah, it comes off in bits and pieces. Okay, no problem as long as it is coming off. So I have the tiniest bit of the foot left on there, which is actually a good thing because that means that I have a little bit of glue all the way around. I'll take it out, but I probably have to put it back into the chuck. So this is what we have now. Put it back in carefully. This is a bit fiddly, but I must say that actually it looks pretty solid. You cannot put it too tight because then you might see the marks from the jaw. So, but this should be fine. Just gently round this. Maybe with a bit of sandpaper to get rid of that tiny burr. Oh yes, that looks perfect. Okay, so far so good. So I have now the tiniest bit of walnut, and on top of that I have this glued in bit. So what I will do now is I will get the lid or the cover for the lid, if I can find it. That is, here it is. It's this piece. It's bolted maple, and a raffin style. I turned a recess on the inside. The lid will fit in here, so you will not see it. But this recess allows me to put it in the chuck and work on the top. Yep. Doesn't need much. So now I will take away all this wood here. This was the old tenon that I used to turn the bottom. All of that goes away, and then we will take some measurements to see how we can fit the inlay. I'm sort of confident that this will look quite nice. I have plenty of wood here in the top, so the depth is there. Hey, Art Fox, also there. Sorry I didn't see you sooner, but I'm so busy that I have little time to watch the comments. This is spalted maple, and as you can see, it probably has been outside for a little bit too long. It's high time that something is done with it, because if it had ha, have had would have had to stay outdoors for much longer, could just as well throw it away directly. This part doesn't really matter. Uh, Measurements. So I've made the inlay slightly tapered, and the biggest diameter is 52. Near the bottom it's 51. So let's start with that and see how we go. Oh, that's a lucky guess. Maybe this is not the right gouge for this. I also need to do it like this. Gets a bit hard to see that line, right? So that's just about the inside. What I tend to do is I take it with the gouge as far as I dare, and especially here you have to be careful it doesn't skate back. I think I can go a little bit deeper still. Okay. And then I will just take my box scraper, which happens to have a tapered side as well. Okay. Let's give this a try. A trial fit. It shouldn't go in yet, but almost. Just a tiny bit more. I'll deal with that when it fits. If it looks like I'm hitting a bump here in the middle, so straighten that a bit. Hmm. Okay, so I haven't made the hole any wider. I've just made it a bit deeper in the center. Oh, this looks good. It feels good. As far as the depth is concerned, what do we have here? Hmm. Oh, 5 and a bit. And this thing it's bigger than that. But I'm not far off. It's a bit like a box lid, only in this case I want a pretty tight fit. I think I need to have the wall a bit steeper, like so. And get rid of those fuzzies in the bottom. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that's the way to go. I think this is going to look really pretty. Okay. That's 52. So at the top, I'm exactly there. And it fits. I just have to take out a bit more in the center. Let me see. That will probably work better with a round nose scraper. Because if I push it in, not sure if you could see that, but I can feel it rocking on the center. And I'd rather have it supported only on the sides. See what this does. So tight I can hardly get it out. I still want to. I think it's glue time, gents. Maybe just a tiny bit more with the scraper. There's a little bit of an edge near the side now. I think if I take that out, might go in a bit deeper still. So I'm not widening the hole anymore. Just making the base a bit flatter. I think this is where I will end this. Not even pushing and it already wants to stay put. So let me put a decent blob of glue on this. Never spare the glue on jobs like this. If it oozes out, you can always cut it away. The only problem is that if I leave it with the glue to set like this, then that would be the end of this session, and I don't really want that. So we'll do it like this. And I will blend the sides in with the rest of the lid, so that you have an idea of how this is going to look eventually. But that's actually quite a small job, I think. Something like that. A bit more. Yeah. There's no way around it. I'll have to do the last bit afterwards. I don't feel like removing that centerpiece already, but at least you can see what it will look like. And so can I. That's the glue coming out. So in itself, that's a good sign. But I think it also means that I should stop here for now. Otherwise, I have to do a lot more cleaning up afterwards. So what do you think, guys? Was I onto something? Probably needs a bit more sanding and all, but yeah, I think I can be quite happy with this. So I'll take it off the lathe, lay it aside with a clamp. One clamp, And that's how I will let the glue set. Let me see, what else do I have? Because there's another glue up that I want to finish. As I already mentioned, I have a market coming up in June, and for that I'm busy making a few of these boxes. They're supposed to be jewelry boxes. I still need to make the lids, but it's a base of ash with a ring of it's the same wood as what I used for that inlay just. So I have done two, and this is the third one. The base is completed. It needs to go in my stronghold chuck, and then I can fit it to size and whoa, chuck key where here. I have made these boxes so that the last bit of the bottom here fits into the jaws when they are almost closed, and that way you will have no marks. Okay. We switch to the larger tool rest. Ah, Mole Valley. Yeah, well, this is already the second thing I'm making. I have just made a mason jar lid with an inlay. That was the topic. The glue is coming out on all sides now, so I think that's a good sign. And the inlay is made of tiny strips of wood, which I cut into 2 centimeter pieces and put them all inside uh, a ring. So basically a leftover round piece from wood turning. I turned a bit of a recess in there, and I stuffed all those tiny pieces of wood in, made it fit with plenty of glue, and then it didn't really look like much because there were gaps and what have you. But then I put a gouge to it, cut away the first few millimeters, and it looked quite great. So now it's inserted in this mason jar lid, and it's drying. And this is going to be the bottom for jewelry box number 3. This is work for the bowl gouge. So what I will do is I will I have to cut this base to size. It's too high, and then I will glue this ring on like so. I have already flattened this side, and then the glue will have to dry, and we'll be done for today. So first step is to make it a bit more round. The top part, that is, so that it's slightly bigger than the ring. Something like that, I suppose. And then, since I have already made a few, I know the height of the box part below the ring, so that's this part. That's 50 millimeters, which is sticking out of the chuck. Okay, that's about there. This is not really precise, but I'm trying to make all the boxes somewhat similar, so at least that much has to come off. And then I have another millimeter or so to fit. And okay, and this is the box that I'm making. I'm doing a market in June, and I'm going to make some jewelry boxes. This is one of them. Still not finished, only rough done, but it looks quite okay, I think. I already have two. This is going to be number 3. And this is ash. Now what I have done with the others is I'll leave a ridge inside where I can fit the ring around. That helps me center it. I think I'm not yet small enough. Ah, if you do a few, you get an eye for it. Almost there. I think that should be it. I think yeah, it already fits over, but the side is still a bit convex, so I have to flatten it a bit more towards the center. And I have to take about another millimeter. Yeah. Figured that. Whoa. The most important thing here is that there are no gaps down at the bottom. But I'm particularly pleased with the amount of play in the ring. I can move it around just about a millimeter. So I think I'm ready to glue this in. I only have to find a piece of wood to hold it with. Maybe this will do. Okay. Normally I would do this at my workbench, but that would mean that you cannot see the process. So although I think most of you have seen glue ups before. I also like to put a bit on the base. Just flows together better when you have glue on both sides, and for this piece I want to have a really good fit, or I should say a tight fit. Glue everywhere. And we'll just let it sit overnight like that. Yeah, Mole Valley Maker. I've been watching a few of your videos. I think the one where you made beads, I have watched that several times lately because that's also something I'm doing at this time. It was a great video. I think it's good for letting people become acquainted with wood turning. It's always good to see the glue oozing out on all sides. It's pretty nicely centered. So yes, I think this is it for tonight, guys. The glue has to set. There's nothing else I can do. Thank you all for watching. Just about an hour of live. I hope you enjoyed it. And I will keep you posted on how that mason jar lid comes out after finishing. So thanks for watching and